Okay, I'm back. I'm with you. I'm staying. Okay, so I'm um living in New Zealand. I'm not from New Zealand, but I'm living here to play rugby. And
Yeah.
oh my goodness, it's winter here, and
Really?
yeah, because it's the opposite side of the world. So so
Yeah.
everything's flipped, and I'm living in like a room share, not with rugby players, but the I guess because electricity is expensive, there's no heating. So,
They
so
say you got a coat on. It's absolutely boiling here.
yeah, really.
It's,
Well, I'm
it's
jealous.
like I mean, it's like high 20s today, so I'm roasting.
Are you?
Yeah.
Wait, are you in Ireland or?
No, I'm in England.
Oh, you're. Sorry,
Yeah.
apologies. Which?
No, my family is Irish, so
Oh, okay, cool, cool. So, are you? Wait, what grade are you? Wait, no, I'm not gonna say grade because it's different depending on where you're from. But like, what? So, how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 17.
Oh, you're still baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't feel like it though, or do you feel like it?
Do I play like it?
No, no. Do you feel like it?
Um, I'd say over holidays, no, because I've got the freedom. But when I'm stuck at sixth form, then yeah, I am. I feel.
You're kind of interesting. I think I kind of felt the same way when I was in high school. I was like, I don't know if you feel this way, but I felt like, okay, I'm ready for the next steps. Like, I'm good. I get it. You know?
Yeah.
Um, is there any new insights that you've had recently about yourself or about rugby or because you're 17 and I'm sure a lot's changing. I'm not sure if you realize it or you feel it or.
Well, I've actually played this season. I played probably 5, 6 games of rugby.
Mhm.
I had a problem with my glutes that were messing up my hips at the start of the year for about 6 months, and it was kind of like just week by week. It was like, oh, they're actually feeling all right. Maybe I'll play next week, and no, they don't. And then sorted that with the physio. They finally got better after 6 months, and then in the new year came back, played 2 games, and then in March I broke my ankle.
Oh no.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm still recovering from that. I'm hope I've got my last appointment with the hospital on Monday, so I'm hoping they give me the all clear and I can start running.
So has that been stressful in terms of trying to like is that like I don't know where you're at right now. Are you trying to get recruited to the next level or you still got another year left or.
Yeah, so I've got one more year at school where I'm at, and then I'm looking at uni over in Ireland. So um,
Okay.
it's kind of like there's different. I've got plenty of options, but I feel more at home in Ireland than I do in England.
Mm,
So
mm,
um, I'd love to go and live there.
interesting. That's cool. Yeah, cuz I think I felt the same way like cuz so I grew up in Canada, but I'm Japanese, like my family's Japanese. And I always had this very strong desire to be in Japan.
Yeah,
And then that's why I wanted to start my rugby career in Japan. And then I committed to the Japanese route and then not the Canadian route. So it's interesting how we can feel connected like that.
yeah,
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 it's kind of hard to describe, but I think you understand what I feel, what I mean.
yeah. I'd
Um,
love to go to Japan. I think not just for the rugby, but also like I think it looks like such a cool culture as well.
yeah, are you interested in traveling? Like, are you interested in the outside world? I guess something that's not your home.
Yeah, but I do want to. I'd want to go to university first.
Yeah.
I feel like just because I quite enjoy my education.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I was actually saying this to someone. We had like mock interviews yesterday, and I was saying about I actually prefer being in school term because there's more of a structure, and I think I'm a creature of habit. And when it gets to the end of holidays, I go right, okay, I'm getting bored of waking up and doing nothing all day until the afternoon. So
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. And it kind of gives you have no choice but to wake up. You know?
yeah,
Like, yeah. So I get that. I get that completely. I guess for the boys, you do have that option. You don't have to go to school, right? You can go directly to professional.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Was never an option for me. So, so.
Oh. Well, so what was the route that you take? That you took?
Okay, so I grew up playing American football. So if you want to be successful in American football, you have to, well, you don't have to go the university route, but you got,
Yeah,
so you take the university route, and then there's a huge draft day,
yeah,
and the seniors get drafted, basically, into the NFL or
yeah,
CFL. So I took the university route, and I wasn't going to go to the NFL or CFL, obviously. And so I was like, okay. I was thinking about rugby because I wasn't ready to coach. Everyone was kind of tailoring me and pushing me to coach. But at that point, I'm still 21, still very young.
yeah,
So I want to play, you know?
yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
get that. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm not ready to coach. And one of the greatest coaches I've ever had, he said, um, you'll feel when you're ready to coach.
yeah,
So if you want to keep playing, just keep playing. So yeah, and then I started my rugby career from zero. I literally had no experience and I couldn't speak Japanese, and my goal was to play in Japan with no experience. I was like, what the heck? How's that gonna happen? Basically, I went crazy on LinkedIn and I was just connecting with people like crazy. I was just networking like crazy. I'm like, I need to figure out how this system works because rugby system, how you get recruited, the pathways are different, right? And then even I
yeah,
noticed depending on the country, it's different.
yeah,
And then if
yeah,
you're a male, it's different. If you're a female, it's different. So it's a lot more layers, I think.
yeah,
So long story
yeah.
short, figured it out, got recruited, flew to Japan. Now I'm here. So, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
So
oh, go ahead.
you played back row, didn't you?
Yeah. I play back row now, but I started off
Yeah,
on the wing because I couldn't catch, I couldn't pass, couldn't do anything. I had no concept of going backwards. It was
yeah,
completely, oh my goodness, it's so strange. Like, what do you mean you have to go backwards to go forwards? You know?
yeah,
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 it's so weird. But have you been playing since you were little, or?
yeah. I played since I was 6, but I always done. So I played football alongside it,
Mm, mm,
um, and I also done kickboxing as well.
mm.
Um, so it was kind of like a broad range of things.
Have,
My week was pretty full. So
yeah. So do you see? That's interesting because you played multiple sports. So do you see the effects of the multiple sports? Do you see that? Like, does that help with your rugby?
I think if anything, the kickboxing helped me more,
Mm,
because I I was so we used to so for each session it would be an hour and a half session, and for about 45 minutes of it we would purely just stretch.
oh.
Yeah, and so I done that twice a week, and I never got injured. I've only started getting injured since I was unbelievably flexible because obviously you have to be able to reach someone's head with your foot. So um, it got I've it's only since that I've stopped doing that, and I mean I stretch quite a lot now, but especially because I kick as well, my hamstrings and my groins are just so tight that that's when it starts. I think if I was doing the kickboxing, I don't think I would have had the problems with my hips that I did at the start of the year.
Mm,
Just because it was just relentless stretching. So
yeah, it's interesting. No, I that actually makes me really happy because that's a different type of. It's kind of a wisdom and a knowledge that you have that I
yeah,
don't think is really taught to us, at least in Western countries. I can't really speak because I haven't been to the UK, but just knowing what I know about growing up in the West, in my part of the world, like having very flexible, soft, mobile muscles that's not really taught to young athletes. It's just push,
Yeah.
it's just output. But
Yeah.
that element of like, if your muscles are too tight, you can get injured.
Yeah.
And I actually, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've just started doing this thing because my groins are so bad because I was on the crutches. Like everything's just tightened up. So I've been doing this thing. It's like as if you're gonna cross like a frog pose. That's what we call it. It's just like if you bring your legs together towards. Yeah. I've been doing that and then putting kettlebells on my knees, and I've never walked out of gym so relaxed.
Interesting.
It's amazing. I do it for about 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what it. I mean, if you grew up kickboxing and that's what you're used to, that intensity.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's required for you. And also, are you really tall?
I'd say really. I'm just under 6 foot.
Okay, but that's still tall. To me, that's tall.
Yeah.
I wonder if height also plays a factor. I'm not too sure. I'm sure there's many layers to it, but no, that's interesting. No, that makes me happy that you value that, because in Japan, that side of that way of thinking is very important, and athletes take it seriously. Tight muscles get you injured. I actually think that's why I tore my knees twice, but it's fine. That's a different thing. But it's interesting because so the reason why I wanted to call was because I knew you were in high school. You're with Cody, so obviously that indicates that you're seeking guidance and that you want to get better and that you have certain goals. You're serious, and so I respect that. That makes me really happy when I see young people. Well, I'm young too, but like high schoolers, middle schoolers, and stuff like that who are taking initiative, I guess. And because you play 10, like in rugby, that's a leadership position, and so being a young leader and what leadership looks like and how that affects others around you is very interesting to me, especially when you're in high school. Because within what you lead, if that makes sense. And what being in that leadership role and having certain responsibilities, and pressures from yourself, from the coaches, expectations from the team, like what are you? I really want to know from like your 17-year-old perspective, like what are you learning about yourself?
I've actually, so I was with a bit of a backstory, and then
that's okay.
So about just over, so it was 2 seasons ago, I was with Northampton's academy set up, and then there was a few it was the first time I'd really, because the way they do it, I don't know how it is in New Zealand and stuff, but they have the first level, they have like level 1, and then they have the second level, which is like the proper academy setup. And that doesn't happen. There's not a level 2 until the season that I was in. So before that, it was they group it into sections. So everyone from my area, all the decent players would go to this level 1 setup, and they'd so it was a good level, but without disrespecting people, it would be there was some people that would be carrying. And then when it went up to the next level, level 2, and I got picked up there, it was everything went through the roof, like physicality, speed, everything went through the roof, and no player there is kind of falling behind. And it was the first kind of time that I'd been in that kind of proper high pressure environment, and in training I felt like I was getting pushed out, So there's a player now. So the player I was competing with is now England 18s, England under 18s, and so like you could tell even from then he was something special.
Yep.
And so it was kind of like I felt like I had to try and play somewhere else to show what I could do. But then when I'd move out, I wasn't getting the ball and I wasn't getting noticed. And that's when it started coming in. Like I just lost confidence completely in when I was there, when I was training. Just because I was like, my size was a problem.
Okay.
And then it was the fact that I'd been pushed out of my position, so I wasn't comfortable anyway. And when it got to that level, they weren't they don't come up to you and go, oh, this is how you play this position. Like you come in as a 15 or as a 10 or something. So I was one of the few that was kind of going, okay, I'm a 10, but I'm playing 15. And then I ended up, we played against Bath, and our winger dropped out injured about half an hour before the game. So I ended up playing on the wing, which was obviously completely different.
Yep.
And almost it's probably opposite to 10 in every single way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I'm the quickest at all. And then I felt like I had a good game. But then afterwards it was kind of like, like I just didn't feel, I'd never felt like I'd done enough, basically. And I'd spoke to the coaches about that, and they have like review sessions. I spoke to them the first time about it, and then the second time a couple months later, it was kind of like, I'm literally not doing anything because I'm working really hard for it, but nothing's coming out on the pitch because I'm so caught up in my own head about it. And I said it to them, and the person I was on a call, and the person who's now the head of the academy, his idea was kind of go back down to the lower one setup, and then get confidence, build your confidence, and then come back up. But I then went down to the level 1 setup, and then it was such a drop in standards, and I felt like I'd done 4 weeks, and I felt like one, I wasn't being pushed, and also I still felt like I was playing really well, and I was looking back, I was probably one of the standouts, but in the mock, I'd still come away. I'd say I'm a bit of a perfectionist with everything, like my schoolwork and everything. And I'd come away and I'd say to Dad, like, I don't feel confident at all with how I played there. So yeah, we actually ended up speaking to a sports psychologist about it.
Okay.
So that was quite like, I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
So that was good, and we kind of, the real focus was not so much on, okay, you're not with Northampton now. Like I wasn't upset about that. Obviously I was gutted, but it was because of what it wasn't because they said, oh, you're not good enough. It was because they said, you're saying you're not confident enough, so you need to build that up first. So it wasn't necessarily I was upset about that. I was gutted, but it was kind of like I was underachieving.
What do you mean?
Like I felt like I could have been a lot better than I was, in that I could have been playing at a higher level, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. In a way, like I was just so caught up in my own head, basically.
Comparing yourself to the other players, and then filling your head with stories.
Yeah, and they had played, like, all these lads would be playing schoolboy rugby from when it started, whereas it was only me and one of my best mates who broke into the academy setup, and we had no schoolboy rugby experience. We came from a secondary school that was football and football and football.
Yep.
And it was, for both of us, it was a change. He's actually still there. He's doing really well with them. But for me, it was, I kind of went there and I almost tried to lock in so much that I zoned out.
Yeah. Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, there's like a few. You reminded me when you said this. When you said this, you said. So I think. Yeah, it's interesting when you said, because now, okay, zoom out a little bit. You leveled up, so you went into an environment that's a higher level that you've never experienced before, and everyone else is used to that level, but you're kind of new to it, right?
Yeah.
So do you think at that point you weren't ready? Like mentally? It's not that physically you weren't ready, it's just mentally at that stage you weren't ready?
I'd say so. It was very much imposter syndrome. That's what it was. And that's what I spoke to the psychologist about, because it was, I'd come away and I'd say, there's nothing that these guys are doing that I couldn't do myself.
Right.
Skill sort of when we were playing, and I come away and I go, I done that in training for club 2 weeks ago, or I'd done that playing in training 2 weeks ago for club. But then I'd go to Saints, and it was, I just couldn't do it. When it came to actually performing, I had so much pressure, and I was so in my own head when I didn't need to be, and I didn't do it, and I didn't play freely at all. So I spoke about in the call with Cody. I thought, like, I want to play more rugby that's flashy, but like, I want to play exciting rugby.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that, and that's what they brought me in to do. So I felt like I was going in and then underachieving because I wasn't doing what I was there to do, and I couldn't bring myself to do it.
You felt like you couldn't feel the expectation.
When I was, it's really hard to explain. That's the thing, is when I was away from it, and I'd look back at games and I'd look over the footage of games, I'd say, oh, I could do exactly what he's doing. Or I could play just as well. But when it was during the game, it was just, well, there's so many eyes on me. There's so many eyes. I just take the safe option. Just be the basic one. Just carry the ball. If you're on the wing, just cut back inside. Don't put a chip over or whatever it was.
Interesting. Yeah. It's really interesting, like carrying what, I don't know how to eloquently word this, but it's like everyone does it. Caring what other people, it sounds so cliche, but caring what other people think, and then when you actually believe the story, then it amplifies that doubt.
Yeah.
And then it gets so loud and so consuming. But it's funny because other people might not see it.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me like the not good enough, or thinking that you're, even if you are good enough, perceiving that you're not good enough. So my first year 15, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, almost, maybe a year and a half-ish ago, I had no clue what the heck was happening. I'm like, what do you mean fold? I had no concept, right? Because I'm coming from a completely different sport. And it came down to the Japan National Championship. And my mentality was, you know what? I'm not good enough. Like, I literally just took ownership of it. I'm like, look, you might be better than me, but I don't care. And then that's what made me ball out. You know, the last 20 minutes, coach just called me on the field. And I think my asset is I'm very aggressive and I bring that impact energy. And so my mentality was like, yeah, you're better than me, but I really don't care. And that sort of kind of gave me power in that moment, if that makes sense. It's like, you think you're better than me? You know, like, and then it just hyped me up. But that's what got me through that really high pressure game. Because you know, we're fighting to be number one in the country, and then here I am, you know, this being from nowhere, you know, on the field with all these like national team players. It's like, who am I, you know? These Olympians and stuff. I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's interesting to hear you say that. No, but it's cool. You know how you speak, you don't speak like a 17-year-old. Yeah, you don't speak like a 17-year-old, and I think that's kudos to your parents. You mentioned your dad, so I'm assuming you're tight with him.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Especially, I think, as a young male, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So what's something that you think, okay, well, through this entire experience, because that's a lot. I think that's a lot. That's a lot to handle. And I'm not too sure if you really realize how much that is to handle. And it's impressive how you're handling it. It is. I'm not just like gassing you up. No, it really is, especially you're 17, you're in a certain age. And I think in 3 years' time, when you look back, you'll be like, oh yeah. You'll respect yourself more, I think. That's the way to put it. So what's something that you learned that's helped you outside of sport? Something in sport that helped you grow or whatever outside of sport. Yeah. I'm curious.
I'd say honestly, it's the confidence. Like I've always been confident, and that has been from my dad. Because we're very similar and that we're both very sociable. But being in, it sounds like it was a bracket, right?
No.
But it was when I was in Saints. It was you do have more confidence, and you say, well, because if you don't think you should be there, then you shouldn't be. That was kind of what they said to us. So it was confidence, and then because you're playing a leadership role, I wouldn't say I'm scared at all in other environments to put an opinion across or stand up for an opinion. But I'd also be able to look at things a different way. And I think I need to get better at that. I'm quite stubborn sometimes. But like, there's so many different ways you can play rugby and so many different things you can do in this scenario and this scenario. And then when it comes to outside of rugby and work or school, there's different ways you can do things there, and I appreciate that more.
What do you mean different ways?
I do need to get better at it.
But what do you mean?
Sorry?
What do you mean different ways? Like
just different ways of doing, like different solutions to things, different ways of succeeding in something, or just getting over a problem. Like me and one of my best mates, we're quite similar in that we put our opinions on each other, and neither of us are scared to say, "Oh, I think you're wrong." But yeah, it's I've lost my train of thought now.
No, that's okay. There's various solutions.
Yeah,
You and your friend, um, tell each other what you guys really think.
yeah, and when he says something, I can appreciate. Oh, okay. No, I understand. I understand where you're coming from now. I understand where you're saying. But yeah, I think it's the confidence and I guess communication that I'd say I take away from it the most.
You know, it's interesting. Like so I've been speaking to lots of athletes, and all of them bring up confidence, and so that's really interesting to me. And then regards to communication, I think I became a better communicator when I joined rugby. And it could many layers to it. The stage of life that I'm at, the certain relationships that I have in my life, making me like I have to communicate if I want things to go well. Whereas I wasn't much of a communicator on the field. I didn't know how to communicate. And then you hear communicate, and then you're like, oh, it sounds so broad. Like, what do you mean? Like, let's be more specific. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I also okay. Last question, just off the top of my head. Well, before on our call a couple days ago, I'm like, okay, what do I want to ask Reece? So this one was interesting to me because okay, it says okay. So if you kept growing the way you are now, like as you are now, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? And then what kind of person do you want to be by that time?
Well, in 5 years' time, I'll be kind of at the end of university. So I'd love to see so the course I want to do in Ireland is a business course. So I'd love to see myself graduating from that, and having that kind of behind me, because I feel like again, I say it loads, but it's a confidence thing. I feel like I've look what I've achieved, kind of. It's kind of I can say to myself, you put it in for 4 years, and look what you got out of it. You got a pretty prestigious degree from one of the top business schools in Ireland. And then I'd love to be in an Irish setup somewhere. So I mean, the university I'd be going to is in the Leinster setup area. So it's Leinster or any of the Irish provinces. Kind of, I'd love to be going through an Irish pathway.
And then, do you want to play for the Irish national team?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. Question. So, to say that you want to play for the national team where you're from, is that kind of people don't really say that?
I mean, I don't know anyone really, but that's just because they're all massive England fans. And I just feel like, and to be fair, not many of them have heritage from other places. Kind of just English. So yeah, I guess it's kind of weird, but they have. So in a minute, at the start of the season before I was injured, they have a setup over here. It's called IQ Rugby. It's Irish qualified. So there's sessions. There's the open day sessions where you go regional level, and you go together, and then they bring you on a national camp, and you go away for a long weekend basically and train with them, and then you go on tour to one of the provinces in Ireland, and you play the provinces, and then that's where the scouts are, and they kind of say, then that's when you get picked up through pathways. And they track you to your 20. So although I missed out last year, so they said to me, it's an ex-Irish centre who plays there, who heads up the program, and he pulled me aside during the regional day and was basically really like, he told me he wants to come and watch my school games. He wants to come and watch my games, and he wanted me to send him like my games. So I've been talking to him, and like it was looking like I'll probably be going on the camp. So obviously then when I was injured, it was kind of like, brilliant. That's kind of gone out the window now. So it's on to next year, but I've got another 3 years of it. So
you
it's.
Oh, sorry, not to cut you off, but I don't know if you realize, like, you're pretty good at optimizing your opportunities.
What'd you say?
You're pretty good at optimizing your opportunities. Like, even if it's like, who cares, whatever that I forgot the name of the New Hampton, the Saints.
Northampton, yeah.
Yeah, Northampton thing didn't play out the way you wanted it in this moment. It doesn't matter. You still took the steps. You still did the thing. You went to a sports psych, which I don't know how many people, even professionals, they don't go to sport. You know, like, you take initiative.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a pretty good relationship with your dad. And I think that's really powerful. I think that's something that's key for you. I think you have a certain support system that a lot of people don't. And just cherish that relationship, because your circle is so important. You have that buddy of yours who's you're able to tell each other's opinions straightforward, but you still love each other and respect each other at the end of the day, you know. Keep that. That's amazing. So you have certain key people in your life. Even though I respect you, because a lot of people, even though they went through this experience and they're so unsatisfied with themselves, right, in the moment or after or whatever, but that feeling is there, you still show up. And so what, you got an injury and the timing wasn't great. You still have interest from that coach, and that coach is older and wiser and has more experience, and so he's probably thinking, he's still 17, it's fine. So as long as you do what you need to do within what you can control, which sounds cliche, but we all know that's how you get through things, that opportunity is not going to go anywhere. And if it goes anywhere, then maybe they don't value you, and that's fine. You just need to put yourself in a situation where you are valued, and you have the mentality, the character, and support system to position yourself for another opportunity. So you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about any of that. Just do your thing. Keep doing what you know you're supposed to do. Keep listening to your dad, because he sounds like a really good man. And live your life, I think, and live your career with a clean heart. I think, there's so much advice and so much, you should do this, you should do that, but inside you when something's appropriate or not appropriate, like you know yourself. And so just follow that, whether that's your heart or your gut. Everyone senses it differently. So I think you should be proud about yourself. Who cares? You're in a funk. But I look back now, not to be long-winded, but it's also, my brain it's the morning, so I'm not as concise as maybe in the afternoon, but no yeses were easily given to me. I was not that kid. And looking back, just like everybody else, I wanted that yes right away, or I wanted that thing or that goal right away. And it's like, there's that part of you, they feel like, if I can just play that way, or if I could just get this accolade, or if I could, right now, there's that part of you. But actually looking back, I'm so glad that I didn't skip any steps, and that life was like, just wait. Not now. You're not ready. Because I look at other people, because I've been doing this since I was 9, right? I'm new to rugby, but I've been in sports since I was 9. So what is this? Almost
Yeah.
20 years of doing sport. I've been in this 20 years, but you see the guys with talent who skip steps, who are lacking certain foundation and understanding in real life and stuff like that because they kept getting yeses in their career. They drop.
Yeah.
They don't last. They don't sustain.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they're so successful in their career, but then when you talk to them as a human being, it's like, oh, it's almost like you're missing some sort of element
Yeah.
of yourself.
No,
So,
I know what you mean. But
yeah.
me and my dad have spoken about this, and we've said like there's plenty of time, and I'm sure I'll find in 3 years or even after next year, people will go, "Do you know what? I'm actually falling out of love with rugby," and players will fall out and they'll fall off, and they'll say, "That's fine. They don't want to play." But I know I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those players that look like they're all for it now, like 3 years time, they might decide to pack it in.
Yep.
And there's plenty of time for me. So
100%. 100%. You know, and sometimes boys are silly. You know, you might get some girl pregnant. You know, like stuff like that happens. Like I see it. You know, so
yeah.
Which is there's nothing wrong with that. It's a completely different life. But in terms of what we're talking about, having a rugby career, you know.
Yeah.
So no, but you should be really proud, and it's refreshing hearing you speak. And it looks like it's getting dark over there, so I don't want to keep you.
I'm the dark room. Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm excited to. Are you gonna hop on the call with Cody on Sunday? I think he has like some podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. It was
Okay.
really good.
Okay, cool. So I'll probably catch you on one of his calls and stuff. But if you ever need anything or ever want to talk or whatever, or anything, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm here. I'll support you. You're one of Cody's boys. And I trust Cody. And after talking with you, like you're good. I think in the next 5 years you're gonna really excel. So